Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Northeast Water's community webinar series. In today's webinar, we'll explore Northeast Water's Corporate Strategy 2040. My name is Jo Murdoch, and I'm the Managing Director of Northeast Water, and I'm really delighted to have you with us today. Before we get started, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands and waters on which we operate and are meeting today. We pay our respects to elders, past and present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people with us on this webinar today. Now, I would like to go over a few housekeeping items before we formally commence the webinar so that we have a smooth session. Please note that all audience members have their cameras and microphones switched off for this webinar. And this webinar is being recorded and will be available via our website after the session. And we'll send you a link to access the recording afterwards so you can share it with others. And I really encourage you to do so. We also encourage you to ask questions. You can submit your questions at any time using the Q&A function. We'll address as many questions as possible during the Q&A segment following the presentation. And those questions that we don't get to, we will then add to our website after the webinar, and we'll put it on the same page as the link to the webinar. Now, before we dive into Strategy 2040, I would like to give you a brief overview of Northeast Water and what we do. Well, essentially, Northeast Water plans for and provides critical water and sewerage services to 39 towns across a 20,000 square kilometre region. We service over 120,000 people, ensuring that they have access to high quality, clean and safe drinking water. We operate 21 water treatment plants and 22 wastewater treatment plants, and our extensive pipe network extends 1,300 kilometres, extends to 1,300 kilometres of sewer mains and about 1,800 kilometres of water mains. Northeast Water's assets are valued at $1.6 billion, and we are committed to investing in and maintaining our infrastructure to meet the current and future needs of our region. We also have one of the lowest water bills in Victoria and right across the nation. Our average residential water bill for 24-25 is around about $1,040 per year. Northeast Water is committed to using 100% renewable energy from June 30, 2025, and to be net zero, to have net zero emissions by 2035. We survey around 2,000 customers a year, and from this, we know that customer satisfaction with our services is around about 94%, and we thank our customers for their trust and support. And finally, but not the least, we are very proud to have 208 local employees who provide exceptional service and support to our community. They are highly skilled and experienced professionals across a wide range of critical roles, including water quality environmental specialists, planners, engineers, property and land use experts, digital and data analysts, water and wastewater treatment operators in the field, many with specialised trades, customer service staff, accountants, engagement experts, and many, many more professions here at Northeast Water. It really is a fabulous place to work with many diverse career opportunities. Northeast Water, I'm proud to say, recently launched its new corporate strategy following 12 months of engagement with customers and key community stakeholders and leaders. Strategy 2040 for Northeast Water sets out our vision for the future. It's a vision where Northeast Water is proactively contributing to a healthy environment, thriving community, and a prosperous region. It also makes very clear that our purpose, our core purpose, is to deliver safe, sustainable water and wastewater solutions for our communities. This is what we do each and every day in a complex and changing world around us. Our approach through Strategy 2040 revolves around embracing a future where water is secure, waste is transformed into valuable resources, First Nations peoples, customers and our employees are highly valued, and our services are safe, fair, accessible and affordable. And it's a future where technology and data is enabling innovation and improving our services. It's a future with partnerships and collaboration and engagement, which is all resulting in positive outcomes. It's also a future where we are continually scanning the horizon to stay ahead of trends and emerging issues, leveraging our services and infrastructure to support the prosperity of our region, North East Victoria. Now, in an early draft of the strategy, we had our vision starting with thriving communities because our customers and community are at the heart of everything we do. Now, it was at this point, while we were drafting the strategy, that we had some incredibly insightful feedback from a director on our board who is a proud First Nations Doodagarra Dargile community member. He shared that above all, a healthy environment is critical if we are at all to have thriving communities and a prosperous region. So if we don't look after the land and waters around us and the air that we breathe, we won't achieve anything else. So that's why healthy environment is strategically positioned first in our Strategy 2040 vision. And you will hear shortly from my colleagues about how all three elements of our vision, healthy environment, thriving communities, and prosperous region, mirror the three key ambitions in our strategy, demonstrating all three's absolute importance to us. So thank you once again for joining us today to learn more about Strategy 2040. I would now like to introduce my fellow presenters, Nicholas Moore, who is our General Manager of Corporate Strategy and Performance at North East Water, and Jill Fagan, our Manager of Planning and Livability, to talk us through the key elements of North East Water's Strategy 2040.
Thanks very much, Joe, and thanks everybody online for joining us today. So the development of the Strategy 2040 has been a collaborative process. Over the 12 months from March 2023 to about March 2024, North East Water sought the voices and views of our board, our employees, and our senior leadership team, who was really integral in relation to developing the purpose of the strategy. We also engaged with traditional owners and First Nation representatives, regional leaders, our community and customer advisory groups, our vulnerable customers and community support agencies, but also our major business customers and developers. In total, as you can see from the slide, there's about 20 touch points with our internal and external stakeholders. This also included updates to the state government as part of our 2024-25 corporate plan presentation. So the engagement really set us up around our key themes and have driven our drivers for change. So global temperatures are warming, and we're experiencing increased frequency and severity of extreme weather events. The impacts to our region will be felt more acutely over the years, particularly ahead of times with regards to our water security. This is driving our focus on adaptive planning for the future, so reducing our environmental impacts and building resilience into everything we do. As part of this commitment, we have already pledged 100% of our electricity, which will be generated by renewables from the 1st of July 2025, and net zero carbon emissions by 2035. Population growth is placing pressures on our systems and resources as well. But population growth varies across our region with 38 towns, some major centres and smaller towns. So our towns are growing, each at a different scale and pace, creating increased pressures for water, affordable housing, services and infrastructure. So our small communities in particular are not designed, for instance, to double in population over a 10-year period without significant capital investment. So this is challenging for us in relation to our investment priorities. Therefore, we need to make decisions around prioritising investments in our major centres, contrasted with our small town growth. We're supporting residential customers, but we also need to support our industry. We need to play an active role in supporting more worker accommodation and social and affordable housing. Technology is rapidly advancing, and we see data availability is impacting every part of our lives and our business activities. So data-driven real-time analysis of our customer ecosystem, including digital meters and sensors, will allow us to monitor changes in our water and wastewater systems, identifying issues early and delaying and sometimes alleviating the need for costly infrastructure works. However, we also acknowledge that we will need to develop a phased adoption of smart technologies. We don't identify ourselves as the leaders in this space, but for innovation, we have to embrace innovation and optimization of our systems to generate efficiencies in the workplace. But we need to ensure that change is managed with minimal interruptions and disruptions. So in relation to our customers and community needs and expectations, the provision of water and wastewater services is our core, but we know our communities are wanting more sustainable water management. They want more efficient use of resources and technologies that make life easier for them. Also, with increasing financial pressures on customers in a current economic climate, the expectation is that we support them with services that are safe, affordable, accessible and fair, and that we proactively help vulnerable customers in particular. There's a strong emerging recognition of Australia of the place of traditional owners and First Nations people have in the history and land of the waters that surround us in our region. Integrating First Nation cultural approaches and values in water management will also evolve over time. We also know that organisations embracing diversity and inclusion will have fresh perspectives, innovative ideas and better decisions that will flow with a deeper understanding of the communities that we service. Financial sustainability is a key for North East Water. The regulatory environment that we operate in has seen relatively flat and even declining prices over the last 10 years that has placed pressure on our financial sustainability. This has made it challenging, particularly where costs have increased above inflation, which is evident in the construction industry recently, where costs have increased materially, say over 30% for the last 3 years. Pressures also exist with volatile energy costs, increased regulatory reform, complex supply chains, growing costs of debt, and the need to keep prices affordable. Because of this, we need to pursue opportunities that leverage our infrastructure for greater benefits and pursue innovations such as biochar production, biogas, recycling technologies, integrated water management solutions, and cutting-edge technologies that, when combined, can position North East Water to support the escalating financial demands placed on our business. So North East Water's core businesses deliver high quality, safe and secure water and wastewater services. However, we are a state government-owned corporation and operate within a highly regulated environment in terms of our obligations in relation to the supply of safe drinking water through the Department of Health and Human Services, and our environmental obligations as they relate to the treatment and disposal of wastewater through the Environmental Protection Authority. So from a pricing perspective, we are also regulated by the Essential Services Commission, who determine what we can charge our customers. As such, when designing the new strategy, we don't start with a blank canvas. So we are therefore guided by our regulatory environment we operate within, particularly including the Victorian Water Act, the Minister's Letters of Expectations and Minister's Statement of Obligations, which outline government policy priorities for the Victorian water sector. These regulations, however, they also empower us and stretch us to develop an organisational mindset capability to think and act beyond what we have always viewed as the traditional core services of water and wastewater. So this helps us achieve our vision of healthy environment, thriving communities and a prosperous region. Supporting our vision, our customer outcomes help us achieve the purpose of delivering safe and sustainable water and wastewater solutions for our communities. Our customer outcomes were originally introduced as part of our 2013 price submission period and restated and validated by our customers as part of our 2018 price submission. They've been used as the foundation to support our new strategic ambitions for our new strategy. At the moment, we are currently engaging with our customers for our next price submission, which commences on the 1st of July 2026, to verify the outcomes are still current with our community. In accordance with our engagement activities to date, we are seeing strong support for reliable, responsive, local and sustainable. Affordable and efficient are currently under review with support from our customers around fair prices. So really, really strong emphasis around fair prices and the impact of prices on particularly vulnerable customers, acknowledging that fairness and support to people in genuine financial need. So at this stage, I will hand over to Jill Fagan, who will present the next few slides.
Hi everyone. I'm going to talk you through some of the ambitions and enablers. So the first one there is healthy environment. And North East Water is committed to strong climate action, circular economy and environmental stewardship, which are the three points under there. And this is one of our priorities because through our engagement with traditional owners and the community, we know that healthy environment is vital if we're going to have a thriving community and a prosperous region. So our collective well-being is really linked to the sustainability of the land and the waters on which we're living. So you've already heard a bit about reducing our carbon footprint. We've got a commitment to the 100% renewable energy in 2025 and zero net emissions by 2035. There's a lot of exciting work going on in that area, but I will also say part of our climate change response is adaptation, which is making sure that we are prepared to function and still be resilient and provide reliable water and wastewater services under more extreme floods, fires, droughts and storms and so on that we expect under climate change. Circular economy is really about our commitment to reusing our wastewater and byproducts, what might in the past be thought of as waste materials. This provides an opportunity for us to reduce costs and the environmental impacts, and reusing water that's been treated as well, wastewater that's been treated to a good quality standard is also part of that. And environmental stewardship is really about improved health and environmental outcomes through our work. For example, treating our wastewater to a high quality standard where it can be used for other things as well. Moving on to the next one, thriving communities. This is a priority because our customers and community remain at the heart of everything that we do. Our priority is providing high quality and safe drinking water and wastewater services, but also affordable tariffs, simple, fair and inclusive processes for our customers, and care and support for all people of all abilities with a particular focus on people experiencing vulnerability. We're also working in partnership with our First Nations people to create meaningful outcomes that advance reconciliation and respect their deep and enduring connection to the waters and the lands on which we work. So there's three elements under that. The customer experience is one focus where we're talking about providing really high quality water, fair prices, value for money and customer support. This is also about continuous improvement in our customer service where we are being resilient and making sure we're getting timely responses back to our customers. The next focus is cultural connection, which involves reconciliation, working towards with our traditional owners and First Nations communities towards their supporting their local economic and social outcomes, and working under the state government policy Water is Life, which is really about making sure that people from First Nations backgrounds have really meaningful input into the way that water and land is managed in this state. And the last one is community trust and value, where it's important for us to work in partnership with our community, with our customers and with our local industries and businesses to make sure that we are doing what works for the local region, what you understand what we're doing, and that we have trust between us. Okay, the next one, prosperous region. So we recognise that increasing climate vulnerability, extreme weather events and an ever increasing demand on limited water supply places pressure on this commitment. And regional resilience requires that we have innovative service solutions, water efficiency and conservation, and an educated community that understand how they can help us as well, contributing towards this goal of a prosperous region. So North East Water will continue to show demonstrable improvements in water and wastewater management and the assets that support it. We will plan ahead to ensure that innovation is leading to intergenerational solutions to ageing assets. Many of you might not know that a lot of the assets that we look after are in the ground for 100 years or more, so we can't just think about today's generations, we also need to think about the future. And adapting to population growth and changing customer expectations requires a collaborative approach. North East Water remains committed to partnerships of purpose with state and local government, agencies, developers, as well as the community and our customers. So priorities under that are robust and reliable services. Of course, you want, reliable water and wastewater services from us every day of the year. We understand that and we're committed to providing that. It also involves us mitigating risk and taking steps towards water conservation, integrated water management, and so on. Infrastructure planning, long-term planning is an important part of everything that we do, and then regional leadership as well, working with others in the region to add value to our partners and to the region. So with people, now workforce, of course, making sure that we've got a really productive, safe, innovative and positive workforce is important for any business. It's vital that we continue to invest in our people to acquire and develop the skills that are needed to shape the future, to be thought leaders and to influence positive change. So through these efforts, we are dedicated to fostering an inclusive, diverse and harmonious work environment and empowering our workforce to achieve outstanding outcomes for our customers and for our community. Safety remains a critical priority in everything that we do as well. In partnerships, building strong partnerships and fostering collaboration and nurturing those trusted relationships is critically important to North East Water. Partnerships are necessary to help us deliver successfully on Strategy 2040 by providing greater access to resources, capabilities, expertise, and bringing in fresh perspectives and innovative ideas. This is really going to help us. We have partnerships with a number of different groups. Some of them are listed there. You can see First Nations, other key stakeholders, industry, major customers and government. And I'll hand back to Nick now. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Jill. Just in relation to innovation, a culture of continuous improvement is integral to for us as a component of our financial business sustainability. So we see value in use of data analytics in particular to drive business improvement and optimization. Alternative revenue streams are really important for us with a relatively flat and declining price profile. And we're always focused on efficiencies in relation to cost reductions and the operational efficiencies that we can generate. We reviewed our financial sustainability also in line with our corporate planning cycle, which includes a review of our ability to service and repay debt. And we need to generate sufficient cash flow from operations to be able to fund our capital expenditure requirements. The upcoming price submission will include a reset of our customer prices, and we'll need to also undertake an external review of our financial sustainability over the next 10-year period, which is typically around two price submission periods. To provide as much bill relief as we can, we are ambitiously pursuing opportunities for alternate revenue streams, which also include grant funding. So traditionally, the water sector is not attracted significant grant fundings. We're pretty much funded 100% from our customer base. But to help us fund our infrastructure needs, particularly the housing targets from the state government, we need to source extra grant funding. Our digital and business innovation strategy investment roadmap is also guiding us in relation to a cloud-based platform. So as we move our billing systems, our finance systems, all moving to the cloud, we need to make sure that they're scalable, integrated, and also delivering efficiencies across the business. And that'll also provide benefits to customers in that the price increases associated with those new systems are generating efficiencies, so we can limit price increases. And this all needs to be balanced basically through a risk-based lens, looking at things such as cyber and data security. So underpinning the strategic intent are our mindsets. So they were developed by our staff a number of years ago, and that's pretty much how we react with each other, our expectations of each other, and how we interact with the community in relation to the provision of our services. So where to from here? Next steps as far as the strategy. We'll have an implementation plan. So we're developing an implementation plan for each ambition at present. Also, along with that is a change plan, so we can help everyone have deep connection and understanding around the vision and the purpose, and where they can see that line of sight between, what's my role in the business and how does that relate to strategy. Continuation of communication methodology to our stakeholders and also our customers. So we'll continue to have communications with our stakeholders as we develop the strategy and put these action plans into place. And also with board reporting, so we're reporting back to our board on a quarterly basis in relation to the milestones that we're achieving. In relation to the price submission, over the next 6 to 8 months, we also need to determine the operational step changes that we're seeking to support the next round of prices. For example, how will the implementation plan impact on our staffing costs and our operating costs for staff numbers? What are the priority investment decisions that we need to make to be able to support, continuing to support growth and support renewals and looking after the investments that we have. So that's probably the next steps, and that's what we're working on over the next 6 to 8 months as we lead into our price submission.
Terrific. Thanks so much, Nick and Jill, for that terrific overview of Strategy 2040. We've still got a few moments, and I would like to open up the floor to our questions and answers, if we can. So I'm wondering if anybody who's listening on today has some questions and answers. So I do have one that was submitted prior to, and it was from Nick Mooney. I'm not sure if Nick's on, but he did send me something earlier. How does North East Waters Strategy 2040 address the challenges posed by climate change to ensure a sustainable water supply in the region? Jill, I'm just going to throw to you. I think you kind of answered that in your opening remarks, but can you just reiterate that for us?
Sure, there's a lot that we do here to address climate change. We've got a climate adaptation resilience plan, which systematically goes through each of our assets, wastewater treatment plants, water treatment plants, pump stations, buildings, and so on, and assesses the vulnerability of each of them to flood, storm, bushfire, heat, and drought. And through that, we can understand which ones might be prepared for those types of events and which ones less so. And that's resulted in us changing some of our assets to improve their resilience. And one example is up in Beechworth, where we realised that if we had a heat wave during a holiday period when there are a lot of people there at the same time, we might not have quite enough water. So we put in a larger clear water storage, which means treated water ready for customers to consume to address that. In addition, we also have an urban water strategy that we prepare every 5 years that looks out for the next 50 years and understands what's the anticipated demand over that 5-year period, as well as what's the anticipation of rainfall, so water availability, and looks at that balance, and that helps us to make sure that we're investing in new water sources when we need it. So Strategy 2040 commits to us continuing that and improving that approach over time.
Thanks, Jill. I do have a question that might be for you, Nick. This is from Kerry. What investments are planned under Strategy 2040 to improve infrastructure and ensure services in the face of future population growth and environmental pressures?
Yeah, thanks for that question, Kerry. I guess I'll start with in relation to North East Waters' footprint. We have over 38 tendons to support in our catchment. So leading into our price submission, over the last 2.5 years, we've been undertaking significant work around our master planning, which our master planning tells us, over a 20 to 50 year period where growth is going to occur and what investments we need to service that growth. However, we can't do it all. We can't do it all within 5 years. So infrastructure to support growth has to occur in a financially sustainable manner for us, and it needs to support not only residential customers but also our major industry. And this is best placed in the centres that we can support growth, which provide for logical extension of existing services as well, which makes it more logical and easier to connect to existing services. So understanding that we can't do it all, we've developed a capital expenditure prioritisation framework, which will guide our decision making in relation to the next price period. From an environmental perspective, I think, which was the second part of that question, we continue to focus on providing capacity at our wastewater treatment plants and a continuation of our compliance obligations, particularly around our general environmental duties for our 21 wastewater treatment facilities. Our key focus of this strategy is on circular economy opportunities, so where we can continue to use our products from our wastewater processes to reduce, say, energy demands, or we can potentially use recycled water in other parts, in other areas that provide an economic, not only an environmental outcome, but an economic benefit for North West Water as well.
Fantastic. Thank you, Nick. And I'm going to ask Jill to answer this last question in 30 seconds or less, because we're almost out of time. What role will innovation and technology play in achieving the objectives outlined in Strategy 2040?
A big role, definitely. We're already using a number of innovative technologies to improve water management and treatment. For example, we're using some technology to detect water leakage in our water reticulation pipes and pinpoint where we need to repair the pipes to address those losses. So Strategy 2040 commits to things such as modelling predictive performance of how we expect our assets to perform in the future under drought, algae, high-intensity bushfires and floods. It commits to having resilient wastewater treatment plants and water treatment plants with contingency plans if things are look like they're not going well, and then testing new technologies they continue to emerge and taking them on board where it makes sense for our business.
So much, Jill. That was a great snapshot of that. I do want to say thank you to Nick and Jill, and thank you to everybody for joining us today, and for everybody everyone who put through a question that was really thoughtful and considered. If you'd like more information about Strategy 2040, you can find out that information on our website. Now, before we conclude, your feedback is important to us and will help us further improve our future community webinars. Can I ask that you take a moment to complete a short survey by using the QR code, which is now on your screens, or via a link that will be included in an email that we'll send to you shortly, which will also have the link to the recording of today's session. You can stay informed about all things North East Water via our Have Your Say micro website, which is haveyoursay.newwater.com.au. And if you have any further questions or need more information about anything you've learned today, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you to everyone for attending today's webinar. We hope you found this session informative, and we look forward to seeing you at future webinars. So have a great afternoon, everyone. Thank you.